What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one on a day where for some reason, I thought we had today off, but boy, was I wrong. Day 8 of training camp has concluded, and we're going to go over all that, recap it, review it, and talk about it. A lot of stuff. Tua was on fire today. We've been speaking a lot about Robbie Chosen lately. He must have been hearing it because he came to life today like the Undertaker raising out of a casket. And also, Fangio had some things to say about his defense that we are going to go over because some of the things are surprising. Some of the things might be surprising to you in terms of what he said today. As always, we will have some camp highlights. Now, I didn't have my plug there today, so we only got about 5 minutes worth of camp highlights today. But my plug will be back very soon. Don't worry. And tomorrow we have the open controlled scrimmage for the Dolphins. So, and then they're off Sunday, Monday, back Tuesday, Wednesday for joint practices. So there is all of that. Shout out to all of you who use NFL GamePass in the U.S. because now you're starting to feel my pain as now you are being redirected to DAZN, DAZN. And it is not it's not a great platform. I don't know what the NFL is doing. I think the NFL, between the player they use in terms of for all 22, and now with how they've gone fully basically, because NFL International is now under DAZN as well. It's not under NFL.com. Between their deal with DAZN and you know, their player on how you get all 22, they've really dropped the ball. They have really dropped the ball. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing because I think the only thing left right now with all 22 is NFL Plus. And from what I understand, they want to move that to primarily a mobile app. You know, the rumblings over the last couple of years I've heard are the NFL wants to get all 22 out of the public's hands. I don't know why. I don't know what their issue is. That's why they've been so successful with Game Pass and everything they've set up. And now they're playing these games. I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, the NFL just continues to drop the ball with their online presence. Is what it is. So I know some fans are feeling the pain of the switch over to DAZN, and trust me, it's brutal. It is not a good platform. People in Europe, now some people in the U.S., people in Canada have been feeling the pain for a while. I mean, we've had it in Canada for 3 or 4 years, and they have never even offered the option of all 22. I've had to use VPNs to get my all 22 and stuff like that, so... Yeah, and I was using Game Pass International, the European Game Pass, for the last couple of years because they had the old player. It was easy to chop, easy to do, everything like that. Even though it was freaking expensive, it was 160 Great British Pounds a year. Is that what a Great British Pounds? Well, British Pounds, whatever. It's about 160 British Pounds, which was just over $200 Canadian. But I paid for the freaking, you know, I paid for the convenience, right? So, yeah, shout out to all of you that are starting to feel my pain. It's not a good situation with what they're doing with the streaming. It's not. I don't know what they're saying with their lives right now. It's brutal. Now, continuing on. It's funny because, you know, you see people out here with the same agendas and the same narratives popping back up as soon as training camp starts. And people straight out here lying. They try to give off the impression that, well, I'm at training camp, so I know what's going on. First of all, these are the same type of people that, you know, you wouldn't allow to evaluate your latest bowel movement, let alone a professional football player. And, you know, they're the same people, you know, never practiced a day in their life of anything meaningful. And yet they're supposed to tell you all how practice works, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways. People out here just spewing their lies, and it's funny to me. It is absolutely funny to me in terms of, Now there's video. We've got, some fans, even though it was members only did today, some fans out here throwing videos up so we know exactly what goes down. So we know exactly what transpired. You know what I mean? And it's real interesting. It's it's kind of funny, man. It's kind of funny how these people are just dying on their heels, even though people are dying on these hills, even though, let's be honest with ourselves. Oh my God, there's video evidence. That's what makes it even worse, and that's what makes it even funnier. Oh my Lord, it's hilarious. Shout out to Knight earlier for gifting a membership to the chat. Appreciate you, Knight, doing the Lord's work. And because of that, Ernesto was able to pick up a membership. Ernesto, I say to you, go over to the community tab. You're going to see a bunch of stuff over there that is not visible for people who are not members. So go over there, take a look-see, read through it, and inform yourself a little bit. And there you go. So shout out to Knight for gifting the membership. Finally, I want to talk about an opening thoughts here. The NFL modifying their personal conduct policy, I think, is hilarious to me. If you guys did not see it, basically they have now modified their personal conduct policy, and it grants them the ability, if they choose to do so, to investigate and take disciplinary actions against incoming draft prospects for incidents that may have occurred before a player even enters the league. Do you understand what I'm saying now? These guys, so like Jalen Carter and everything Jalen Carter went through, it would have been investigated by the NFL. Now we're getting into the NFL wants to start. See, you want my personal opinion? They're getting a little power hungry here. Now you guys are investigating kids that haven't even been drafted in the league. That kid could decide to retire tomorrow instead of enter the draft. God forbid, something could happen to that kid that stops him from even entering the draft physically, whether an injury or, a major injury or, a terrible thought, death, something like that. But now we're giving these guys pro bono right to investigate kids this is where it gets nasty here, because what they're going to do with I'm going to tell you right now, this is what you're going to watch. I guarantee you. What's going to happen with their investigation is they are going to start going beyond the incident they're investigating. What do I mean by that? They're going to be looking into personal history so they can do some character research and a character evaluation to see if the incident they're originally investigating is a one-off. That's what this is going to turn into. The NFL is, if you do something that causes the NFL to investigate you before you enter the league, what this is going to do is it's going to cause them to pry through every nook and cranny of your life. That's what it's going to turn into. Like, this is, like, Jesus, like, this is crazy to me. Because that's exactly what it's going to turn into. And teams already do their research. We already see people dropping. We already see people's draft stock drop. You already see it happen all the time, which affects their money in the long run. So don't give me the money thing, because we already see people, the NFL or teams already do their research as is. But now with the NFL getting in, the NFL can discipline you. That's what you're not understanding. The NFL can discipline you now. So you get drafted, your stock already falls because you get drafted, then you get into the league. Let's say the case is still ongoing, then it gets settled in whatever way it does, financially or through the judicial system. Now they will finish their process and they will probably suspend you for a few games of your rookie season. That's what this is turning into. Not just, see, we were already beyond affecting draft stock. Draft stock already gets affected with a checkered history. But Jalen Carter was just such a, I kept telling all y'all, Jalen Carter is going to be special talent. Like, trust me. That's why you didn't see him. He dropped out of the top 10, but if he had not had that issue, he would have been probably a top 10, top 5, top 6 pick. So it did affect his draft stock. But just the kid's so freaking amazing that, it is what it is. Think about Laremy Tunsil. Think of the investigation that would have been put forward about that video dropping the day of the draft when we drafted Laremy Tunsil. Now, it was marijuana and all this kind of jazz, and I don't know where that falls, but let's say a video or an alleged incident was reported the day that kid is going to get drafted, okay? So his stock drops, but then the investigation doesn't really start until now he's been drafted into the NFL. So boom. Even though it was prior, now they can still come at you for it. I don't know, man. We're getting into this is where the NCAA should be disciplining these kids. And I get it. There's that gray area of where they're going, that gray area of where they're done and they're about to head into the draft, that area right there. But, I mean, take away awards, take away accolades, do all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You got these nil deals. You got to figure out. They're going to have to figure out some kind of fines. They're going to end up figuring out fines in the NCAA because they found out these kids got money through nil deals now. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't know, man. I think this is just opening a can of worms. And, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. You know what I mean? See, that's what, Robert, that's what I'm kind of saying. NFL wants to be big brother watching. That's what I'm kind of saying. And I'm not here trying to, I'm not trying to pull people in with conspiracy theories and such. But that's basically what I go, Jesus. They want to control every aspect of your life if you're coming into the league. Because I already told y'all, if you're coming in and they're investigating one incident, they will tear the rest of your life apart to find out if this is a pattern, if there is a history. Dude, I've already heard stories of them conducting interviews with some players' first girlfriends. I'm talking before high school, talking to friends that even before they go to high school, friends from elementary schools and stuff. Teams already do that kind of research. But now the big entity is coming in and saying, okay, let us overtake this now. I don't know, man. That's crazy. So I think that's going to lead into, suspensions. Where if a video drops the day you get drafted, or a video or something happens in that gray area where you've completed your bowl game and you're waiting to get drafted, they could carry over that. They could investigate you, not like what they see. You get drafted and then they announce you're suspended for the first couple of games of your rookie season. And it did not even happen when these kids were NFL products or whatever you want to call them. I get it. Scotty's right, man. Look at, he says, can we investigate owners in the same fashion? I agree, man. You can't, right? That's the good old boys club. You can't get into there. Dwayne Eskridge was just suspended about an hour ago for 6 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. I think it was a domestic thing going on there because they mentioned his wife and such. And then Charles Omenihu of the Kansas City Chiefs, he was suspended today for 6 regular season games for violating the personal conduct policy. So suspensions coming down today. NFL flexing its muscle. Over 300 of you in the chat. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. We got a ton to get into today. We're going to start off with Vic Fangio. Listen, we've been raving about the things we've been hearing from publicly and then the people we speak to privately about Vic Fangio and his defense, but also David Long, what we've seen early on, Cam Smith, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Fangio out here, he's not letting any of the early hype get to anyone's head. He's laying down the law. So let's go over what Fangio says here. I went through his interview and I clipped it up into basically the most important. You gotta love Vic Fangio, eh? Straight to the point answers, eh? Nothing long and redundant and drawn out. Just straight to the point. Man, I love this guy. Apparently came out of the womb as a straight shooter, and I get it because I'm the same way. So, I'm loving this. So let's get into what Fangio said today. A couple points that I wanted to go over. Here's the clips put together for all of y'all and shout out to him bringing back the sun hat. Loving it.
What's that? Channing's working every day to get better, get a better understanding of the defense. Once he gets a better understanding, I think his talent will flourish.
So there you go. All you being asking about Channing Tindall. Now he's being asked about what he's seen by Cam Smith and Noah Benogany.
Who's the second one? Yeah, I think both of them are making good progress. They're not where we need them to be just yet, but I think both of them are working hard and giving us good progress. And hopefully by game one of them or somebody else will surface and take that position.
Now he's being asked about not adding a clear nose tackle for depth. And if you think,
we're happy with Zach, Christian, and Raekwon. We need to find three other guys to surface as the fourth, fifth, and sixth defensive linemen. And so far, nobody has done that. So that's an area that we need to get better at.
Great questions by Daniel Oifusi. He's being asked about the backups behind Javon Holland.
Not right now. We're still looking for the guy to surface next to Javon.
So Deshaun Elliott's not a lock.
Once we find that, then we'll see if we have a third one.
Whew.
How was David Long taking to the defense and kind of helped you guys?
Now, David Long's been bragged about, and Travis Winston.
He's had ups and downs. He's made some really good plays, and then some other plays we need to get him honed in on better. And he's working hard to do that. But, you can't just have flash plays. You got to have good plays all the time.
Okay, so now I want to preface what I'm about to get into with he praised Christian Wilkins, called him one of the best defensive players in the league. He praised Javon Holland, said he should be one of the best safeties in the NFL. But let's start off here, okay? So with Noah Benogany and Cam Smith, and he says both of those guys, they're not where we need them to be just yet. See, that's expected of Cam Smith. You're year one. Noah Benogany, my friend, we are into year 4. And you're still not where we need you to be yet. Cam Smith is making plays. Like I do think Fangio downplays a little bit. So it doesn't, I do think he does have a tendency to downplay, but he's also a straight shooter. And, Cam's making more plays, Cam's making more noise, Cam's on the radar. It's pretty much accepted by everyone watching there that Cam is that dude right now compared to Noah Benogany. And so that's what I took away from that. Noah, we're into year 4, and you're still not where we need you to be yet. That's what one of the most brilliant defensive minds is telling us. Okay? Cam, we expect that because you're a rookie. It's year 1. I don't think we'll hear that in year 2, year 3 from Vic. I really don't. Now, in terms of Channing Tindall, He said Channington was working every day to get better and to get a better understanding of the defense. And even he said once he gets a better understanding, he thinks his talent will flourish. So that thing, we were all kind of worried about how long will it take him to grasp it. And Fangio's basically telling you, hey, he still hasn't grasped it yet. Right? Because remember, Tyndall openly admitted he had problems grasping the playbook last year. Now, he said we needed to find three other guys to surface as a 4th, 5th, and 6th defensive linemen. So, beyond Raekwon Davis, Seiler, and Wilkins, this is where the Philly battle with Twyman and Josiah Bronson and everything's going. Now, he's basically telling you no one's emerging right now. We know Philly's made some nice plays, but I think they're going to see how these guys, like I've reported, they're going to see how they do in joint practice, and then they're going to move forward after joint practice in a preseason game. And then I think if they're not really satisfied, I could see them adding a veteran to compete with them. I really think, again, he's kind of telling you, right, that we're not really liking what we're seeing depth-wise. Now, what was shocking to me was that he said we're still looking for the guy to surface next to Javon. Once we find that, we'll have to see if we have a third one, because Daniel Oifusi asked him how much he thinks his defense can make use of 3 safeties, and after naming, Brandon Jones, Deshaun Elliott, Trill Williams, etc. And now he did talk about Trill Williams and Brandon Jones at different points of this presser, and he said, we haven't really had a chance to evaluate them and how they fit yet because they're coming off injuries. They've been limited. But Deshaun Elliott, he's had a good sense of, and he doesn't even, Deshaun Elliott isn't even locked in to be the starting strong safety, it seems right now. That job is open. Deshaun Elliott not running away with it, and clearly Fangio not blown away with what he's seeing right now. Because he mentioned Trill, he mentioned Brandon. He said we haven't had a chance to really see them a lot yet because of what they've been coming back from. And they've been on limited reps. So, and then, the shocking part to me, David Long. He said, he's made some really good plays, and some other plays we need to get him honed in on better. He's working hard to do that. Just can't have fast plays. You got to have good plays all the time. And we've heard that David Long is lights out, lights out, lights out, lights out from everyone attending, whether publicly or privately. But it looks like Fangio is reeling that, keeping that in check, and expects even better from David Long, which is a scary thought because David Long already looks like he is going to be something to behold in this defense and going to elevate our linebacker group. Shout out to Alf, who was there today, and he says, I took it more to mean that he was going to play several guys there regardless. Deshaun Elliott, by the way, was great on Thursday. That's good to hear. That is good to hear. Because, Deshaun Elliott, along with David Long, were guys we thought we'd get pretty high, much higher level play out of than what we paid them for. And David Long looks like he's going to be that. Hopefully Deshaun Elliott becomes that. Shout out to Alf. Everyone go follow 3 Yards Per Carry. One of the best audio podcasts out there to do it. And shout out to the homie Alf. That's a good dude right there. I'm surprised you're not in Canton, Alf. I'm shocked I didn't see you by Don Shula's bus singing the fight song with everyone, bud. Oh, man. Shout out to Alf, though. He's also holds it down at training camp and one of the best sets of eyes you can trust at training camp, too. So we've got highlights for today. We got about 5 minutes of them. Shout out to everyone all over Twitter who shared them. Bobby, Finland, who else? BLT had them. Everyone who shared them, the Miami Dolphins shared them as well. No exclusive footage today. My plug will be back at one time. But, yeah, today he was not there. So let's play it. Let's roll it. There you go. Alf says, I know, man, I'm going to be at scrimmage on Miami Gardens instead. Honestly, brother, listen, that's a tough one, eh? Zaxton, Schreiman are the first controlled scrimmage. I get it. Because, man, I'm excited for the scrimmage tomorrow and hear what comes out of it. So over 350 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Let's get into the highlights from today.
Beautiful day out here now.
Robert Hunt, love and life. Team running out the field. Take the field, boys. Uno. Joint practices are Tuesday and Wednesday with the Falcons. They are off Sunday and Monday this week. So everyone just looking for a reminder. Jalen Phillips, love and life. Rocking the orange jersey today. And the audio. Sorry. Had to hit the mute button on deck for that one. David Long. Weiland. Getting that nice footwork in, the wide receivers. Braxton apparently had another good day today, too. Working the sleds. We see it every day, baby. I'm still waiting for the video to someone to break one. Agba looks jacked. Still waiting for... I need one broken. You know what I mean? Man, this duo is about to be nasty this year. I'm telling you. Chubb and Jalen Phillips about to change the game this year. I'm taking the over on both of them. Jalen had the orange jersey, man. Uno getting the warm-up in. All right, here we go. Look at this, guys. Robbie Chosen decided to show up today, guys. Okay.
Outside boundary.
Here's another angle for you of that throw.
All the way on the left side.
Oh! Boom. Let's go. I think it was like 60-plus air yards on that. Skyler moving. Launching. Broken up. But look at Braxton. Put on those burners. Oh, get up that sideline, Braxton. Two in red zone was phenomenal today. Absolute money in the bank. Shorty, what you drank. This is to touch the water. Oh, right in the bucket. Here's another angle of it. Ooh. Devin A-Chain. Look at this kid move. Come on. Come on. Tell me I was right about Devin A-Chain, people. There are your highlights from today. Not much. Not what you're usually used to. I get it. But that'll have to do for your training camp highlight palette. Oh, A-Chain finds those holes real quick. Remember, like, you're probably talking about one of the fastest initial steps. Man, I'm going to tell you this right now. I've had multiple people tell me who have been at training camp that Devin A-Chain looks like the fastest player on the field. And they're comparing that to like Reek. They're saying he looks faster than Reek. Devin A. Chain is just another level. I keep trying to tell people, you know, you got a football player that's an athlete, not an athlete trying to be a football player. This ain't Kalen Ballage, all right? And A. Chain, man, you talk about crazy burst, crazy acceleration, crazy short area explosiveness, crazy explosive first step. Add in what I've been saying, great vision, understanding of angles, open field spatial awareness. Dude, the guy's complete. I'm telling you. The only thing people are trying to hang on him is his size. And you've seen lately the reports coming out. He's been good in one-on-ones pass blocking, which is putting a lot of people's size fears at ease with him. Trust me when I say this kid's a real deal, man. And that's why whenever I said I wanted Dalvin Cook, what did I always say? 2-year deal. Right? 1 year we can have Dalvin. Year one we'll have Dalvin, Devin, Mostert, and Jeff will have the little committee. So that way Mostert and Wilson can stay healthy into December and January and hopefully February with Dalvin added to it and Devin A. Chain as well. Year two, Devin A. Chain and Dalvin run the backfield. Year three, Dalvin's gone. It's A. Chain's backfield. Roll with it, young buck. And you've got year 3 and year 4 of your contract to run the backfield. Develop him like a quarterback. Unless he comes out and looks generational in year 1, then you just hitch the wagon to him. But the proper way, develop him that way. That's what I think, at least. So let's get into the recaps from today. We've got a lot to go over. And let's start off with some roster moves. The Miami Dolphins made some roster moves. They have signed cornerback Mark Gilbert and waived injured fullback John Lovett. Now, obviously, they can bring back John Lovett. I know the coaching staff loves John Lovett. So, anyways, in terms of Mark Gilbert, he played for the Pittsburgh Maulers of the USFL last year. He had 4 interceptions and he recorded 32 tackles as well. Those 4 interceptions led the league. So, there you go. That was the roster trend because the Dolphins did not have a roster spot open. So they actually had to waive Lovett to make room for Mark Gilbert. So they've added yet another cornerback to this already deep group. So they ain't stopping. Just when you think they're loaded, they say, nah, let's get some more. So let's get into the training camp reports. Let's get into day 8. And the Miami Herald. Tua Tagovailoa was sharp, including 4 touchdown passes in the rain and red zone drills. A 10-yard pass to Braxton Berrios. There's that chemistry we keep talking about. 13 and 18-yard passes to Jalen Waddle and a 3-yarder to Raheem Mostert. And a deep ball to Robbie Chosen before the rain started. Tagovailoa incidentally didn't throw an interception and has only one 11-11 interception through 8 practices. There was one worrisome moment Friday. Rookie cornerback Cam Smith walked off gingerly with a trainer into the team facility after slipping on a sidewalk by the end zone when defending a receiver during quarterback-receiver defensive back drills. It wasn't immediately clear what he injured. Highlights from 11-11 work beyond Tagovailoa's aforementioned good work in the rain. Completed a 50-yard throw to Chosen on a beautiful throw, beating Tino Ellis. Among his other completions were a 10-yarder to Durham Smythe and a 12-yarder to Jalen Waddle. Tagovailoa had a 2-yard touchdown pass to Freddie Swain against Javon Holland and 11-11 red zone work. Tagovailoa overthrew Waddle on one deep throw, but had a good day overall. Skylar Thompson also threw a short touchdown pass to Swain with new cornerback Mark Gilbert in coverage. Mike White, who has looked better in recent days and was accurate on Friday, completed a 20-yarder for Braxton Berrios on a sharp throw, a 20-yarder to Julian Hill, a 10-yarder to Salvan Ahmed, and made a great throw on a 40-yard play to Chosen. This, by the way, was Chosen's best day of camp. So there you go. With 2 big plays, 11-11 drills, and multiple touchdowns in QB, cornerback, wide receiver drills. Kidder Kohu and Elijah Campbell had some pass breakups. Channing Tindall did a good job stopping Ahmed on a run. Zach Sealer had a sack, continuing a great preseason. He also stuffed Raheem Mostert for no gain on a run. Ogba beat Austin Jackson for sack late in team drills. Jalen Phillips had 2 sacks, and Jalen Twyman and Raekwon Davis had 1 apiece. Cameron Good continues to flash. Mitchell Agudier wrapped up Devon Achane for a 1-yard gain. Agudier remains the most impressive of the UDFAs. But Achane also scored on a short touchdown and had a 15-yard run. Overall, the rookie running back had a good first week. Alec Ingold had a 1-yard touchdown run. The fullback has had a solid camp. Tino Ellis forced a drop by Cedric Wilson, who can't afford them, let's be honest. And soon after, Channing Tindall broke up a Thompson pass to Wilson. Tindall has displayed improvement this week. Brandon Pilley had a run stuff for a non-gain. Rookie tight end Elijah Higgins dropped a pass from Thompson that was thrown behind him. Higgins has had at least 3 drops in camp, and tight end Eric Sauber had a false start. Wow. There was legitimate competition among 3 players for the starting left guard spot, which Liam Eichenberg held last season when he wasn't injured. Team rules prohibit us from detailing. Listen, I'm going to have that information for you tonight. I was going to go live yesterday. Record 3 takes yesterday, but then I realized we had a practice today, so you will get your 3 takes episode tonight, and I will tell you who that battle is, okay? Like I said yesterday, I've known since yesterday, since it was first reported. Participation notes: Bradley Chubb, who was shaking his hand when he left practice on Thursday, practiced and forced a quick throw from Thompson in the downpour. Eric Izakama, Duke Riley, and Malik Reed worked on the sideline with undisclosed injuries. Brandon Jones and Trill Williams remained in red non-contact jerseys. So Jones was in pursuit of a short Tagovailoa pass to Berrios because they did participate in one-on-one drills. Nick Needham on PUP has been running on the sideline. Taron Armstead working 11-11 drills for the first time after offseason knee injury. Among some of the highlights in red zone drills, Anderson caught 2 touchdown passes over Eli Apple. Tino Ellis broke up a white pass to Braylon Sanders. Tagovailoa hit multiple touchdown passes in that drill. 1 to Waddle beating X, 1 to Tyreek over Noah, and another to River Craycraft beating Apple. So Eli Apple was roasted today. Skylar Thompson threw a touchdown to Chris Coleman, beating Cam Smith. Howard was called for pass interference on a throw to Tua. Gilbert broke up a white pass to David Davis. Gilbert also, as I mentioned, led the USFL with 4 interceptions. Jeff Wilson had a short touchdown run, and Noah Benogany broke up a pass to Chosen Anderson. Cornerback Jalen Ramsey is no longer on crutches after knee surgery last week. What's more, he's wearing a compression sleeve instead of a brace. That's encouraging. He could be back on the field by November. Phillips wore the orange jersey, and Saturday's 11:15 a.m. scrimmage at Hard Rock is open to the public. Oof. So there you go. The scrimmage is open to the public tomorrow, and we are going to have a lot of details. I'm going to try and get the latest I can on Izakama and Cam Smith. It's really, they're hush-hush with it right now. So I'll try and figure something out for you guys. I'll try and get the latest, all right? I'll try and have an update for you guys. It's for 3 takes for the Patreons, and then if I find anything out, I will have it on the Patreon first tonight and probably do a written write-up for the community tab, and then for channel members only, and then tomorrow I'll have an update for all of you guys when we're live for the scrimmage. All right. If I find anything out, I will. If nothing goes public and I find something out, I will keep y'all updated. All right. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. So I will try and figure something out and talk to my people tonight. All right, guys. Now, keeping up with it, because, that Cam one, we all got our eyes on. I get it. Oh, briefly, first, I wanted to talk about something from that article. So, what I wanted to talk about was, Tagovailoa just on the money today, on fire, and I see people out here with agendas spreading misinformation about Tua's day when everyone who was there, from the beat writers to the people in the stands, are all in unison that Tua was on fire today. Tua was just, even when the rain came down, Tua was just dropping dimes, baby. Dropping dimes. Love it. Now, he had a few misses. It is what it is, but Tua continues to look absolutely sharp. How many times have we seen the word sharp used in all the recaps and reviews we've looked over since training camp has started? Almost every day, in multiple. Right? First opening line of today's Miami Herald, Tagovailoa was sharp. Right? We see it every day. So Tua on fire, Tua lighting it up. Love to see it heading into this season. All right? Now, from the Sun Sentinel, rookie cornerback Cam Smith walked off the field cautiously, team personnel by his side. He stayed on the field for a few more plays. Now, we didn't hear this on the last one after slipping, but then left and didn't return. There's no word on the severity of his ailment, but it might be another issue for a cornerback unit that is piling up issues. But that was the only downer from a rain-soaked practice that continued outdoors because there was no threat of lightning. The offense started practice doing practically whatever it wanted in 11-11 in both the pass game and the run game. The offensive line and pass protection might have been at their best in Friday's 8th training camp practice. However, the defense led by the front seven came roaring back during the second half of practice to even the battle. Penalties were better Friday than Thursday when there were at least 5 false starts, but they crept upward towards the end of practice. And another good news, it appears Jalen Ramsey's done with the crutches after undergoing left knee surgery on July 28th. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill was in midseason form during his postseason practice media. Among the things he revealed in the joking manner, he wants to embarrass cornerback Eli Apple, the subject of a social media beef, and he was surprised, alarmed, to get an early morning phone call from Coach McDaniel informing him they had planned on signing Apple. The Dolphins have a controlled inter-squad scrimmage at 10:45 a.m. So, Eric Izakama and linebackers Duke Riley and Malik Reed worked on the sideline. So, Eric Izakama, I wouldn't be worried about, guys. He's working on the sideline. That's fine. It's if he's not out there or if he's out there just running on the sideline, like, I wouldn't be too worried about him. Ethan Bonner and Keon Crossan and Ramsey didn't practice. Tight end Tanner Connor and cornerback Nick Needham are on the PUP list. So, and Smith left and didn't return. Stock up, Robbie Chosen for the first time in training camp. Chosen was active on both one-on-one drills and 11-11. He had a 40-yard reception in 11-11. Drew a pass interference call with cornerback Eli Apple defending, and in which he went up to catch a high pass. Stock down Myles Gaskin. He actually had a decent camp, but he keeps getting lost in the rotational shuffle, and the situation isn't getting any better. Gaskin is fighting off starting caliber running backs Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, and rookie third-round pick Devon Achane and running back Salvin Ahmed, who has special teams usage. There just aren't enough meaningful snaps to go around. Some of the observations today: Robert Hunt had a nice block on defensive lineman Christian Wilkins early in 11-11. It was notable because Wilkins has been dominant in training camp and rarely been blocked one-on-one. Taron Armstead got on the field for at least 2 plays during 11-11, which was his first action of camp. Tight ends had one of their more up and down days, led by Julian Hill's nice reception from Mike White, a nice seal block by Tyler Croft, and a nice reception by Smythe. However, Eric Saubert had a drop and a false start on back-to-back plays, and Elijah Higgins had a drop while wide open. Devon Achane did nice work on a screen pass and as a receiver in general Friday, extending his good camp. Tagovailoa had a good day passing, whether it was short, intermediate, or long. The rhythm and timing with Hill and fellow wide receiver Jalen Waddle seems to be getting better each day. Noah Igbenogany had a pass breakup in the end zone, defending Chosen on a pass thrown by White. Igbenogany might get another extended look with the first team with the cornerback ailments. Javon Holland is a starter, and safeties Deshaun Elliott and Brandon Jones seem to be in the running for the starting spot beside him, but the race is wide open, according to Vic Fangio. Emmanuel Ogbah had a nice day. Cameron Good flash again, as the two combined for sacks on White. Ogbah also sacked Tagovailoa. Twyman had a sack on Thompson. It was one of the first times Twyman has made a play in training camp. Channing Tindall had a nice tackle for no gain on 3rd and 2 from the 9-yard line. So it's nice that we're seeing Tindall constantly pop up in these reports, because we hadn't all last offseason, but it's also nice. And let's hope it starts to become a consistent theme that Robbie Chosen is coming back to life the way he has. Because he was making plays in one-on-ones and 11-11s today. And we need him. We're going to need him, man, especially now with Eric Isakama on the sideline. It's going to be more opportunities now. But Cedric Wilson continues to be super quiet. I know he had a drop today. And that tight end room, guys. I mean, they got to... That's where I'd be watching the waiver wire. I'm still sitting here saying, Tyler Higbee for a 5th or 6th. See if you can get it done. See if you can get, we need tight end help. And I get it with how we're going to use our receivers. Tight end, but, I mean, Jesus Lord. Oh, man. Eric Saubert is just not popping off. So, hey, listen. But, again, with what they plan on doing at 11 personnel with their receivers, right? I get it, right? And that's why we need Isakama to be back on the field, too. He needs to continue to develop his responsibilities in those 11 personnel packages where he's going to be motioning in line or motioning into the backfield where we can throw them. Right? Like I said, you can throw 21 and 12 personnel looks off motion out of 11 personnel if you train up your receivers properly. Like what McVay did with a few of his, including Cooper Kupp. So, Isakama needs to get back out there. Let's hope it's nothing long term. All right? Let's hope it's nothing long term. So, from SI, this is what they said. These are their highlights, Omar and Alan Pupar. Dolphins had an interesting practice Friday, one that featured about 20 minutes of work in a heavy, and we mean heavy downpour. Right off the bat, the two things that stood out from practice was a big play for wide receiver Robbie Chosen, whose camp has been very quiet up to the point, and some great by Tua Tagovailoa in the final series featuring third down work near the red zone. We'll start off with the attendance check, and we already know it, right? Ramsey was on the field with no crutches. Taron Armstead was taking some 11-11 reps. Eric Isakama, Malik Reed, and Crossan were out. Brandon Jones and Troy Williams were non-contact jerseys and had limited snaps. Cam Smith left practice early, and we're all holding our breath. Bradley Chubb, full participant, and Jalen Phillips wore the orange jersey. Chosen was on the receiving end of the two longest plays of practice, receptions from Tua and one from Mike White. On the first, Chosen got himself wide open behind Tino Ellis. We saw the highlight earlier for catching a pass that would have gained somewhere around 50 yards. On the second, he caught a pass in front of a defender near the sideline for a gain in excess of 40 yards after White stepped up in the pocket to avoid pressure from Emmanuel Ogbah. Now, remember, that would have been a gain of over 50 yards, but if you look at where Tua dropped back to in the air yardage, that ball was over 60 yards in the air. But Tua saved his best for last. Oh, sorry, hold on. While that was Tua's longest completion of practice, he had several throws that were more impressive. He had a Mahomes-like no-look pass when he started at the sideline to his left before hitting Durham Smythe in the slot. He later had a nifty 5-yard touchdown pass to Braxton Berrios near the sideline at the goal line against tight coverage. But Tua saved his best for last, with 3 consecutive touchdown passes, including 2 to Jalen Waddle. The first came against the blitz, and the last came when he threw the ball right as Waddle made his cut on a quick slant. In between, he threw a strike to Raheem Mostert at the good goal line before Mostert made his cut to beat the defender. Mike White also had an impressive day, highlighted by a beautiful touch pass over a linebacker and into the hands of rookie tight end Julian Hill, who again was very active in the passing game. Berrios was on the receiving end of another noteworthy play after he caught a backward pass from Tua inside the 5-yard line, and Noah Igbenogany threw a shoulder into him before he reached the goal line. Igbenogany broke up a white pass intended for Chosen. Look at Noah making some plays. Channing Tindall was way more noticeable than usual. He had a tackle for a loss on a run by Ahmed early in team sessions before Tua's last series. Had a stop at the line against Chris Brooks and a pass breakup against Cedric Wilson on a throw from Skyler. As usual, the defense had a number of would-be sacks, though exactly how many usually depends on who's doing the scoring. Zach Sealer did come free on Tua on one pass play, the result of a clear mix-up up front. Jalen Phillips got close to Tua before a deep incompletion, and at the very least would have been credited with the quarterback pressure. The same goes for Ogba and White's long completion to Chosen. Defensive tackle Jalen Twyman also should get credit for a sack against Thompson. Eric Saubert had a tough two-play sequence where he dropped it to a pass and then committed a false start. The passing game clearly was affected when it started really pouring, and that included Ahmed failing to catch a pass a little bit out of his reach, but catchable, and the ball coming out of Thompson's hands as a knuckleball when he tried to throw downfield to Sanders. On to his next to last series, the defense got 2 sacks, one by Ogba and the other by Raekwon Davis. That really should be credited to the coverage. Now, I got to say something here. Remember a couple years ago when we had that torrential downpour and Tua threw a bunch of picks and everyone was pulling their hair out? Well, look at how all these reports have talked about all the good work Tua did in the downpour today. My, what a difference of a competent offense and competent personnel can make for you when it rains in practice, huh? Even still, like I say and like I'll always say, these are team practices. The practices that mean everything to me are the joint practices. The joint practices are really when I start putting stock into things. Joint practices and preseason games are where I put my stock. All these practices, listen, these people out here fear-mongering and doing, these casuals out here who are flipping their lids because of incompletions or whatever the case may be in practice, not realizing that practice is when you test your limits, you test your boundaries, and you test to see things you normally wouldn't test in game against a defense. But these people don't realize that. They have no understanding of that. They think every read and every throw needs to be made perfect in practice. Isn't the saying practice makes perfect, not be perfect in practice? Do you know why practice makes perfect? Trial and error. Trial and error. But these people, whether they were never played a down of meaningful football or a meaningful practice in their life because they were too busy cleaning out their flutes for band practice, or whether, they were too busy being in the stands because they couldn't make the team, or too busy at home because they had no friends and really didn't know ball. Whatever their case may be, just because they don't understand and they're misinformed doesn't mean it's right. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You got people out here expecting perfection in practice because they don't understand the root meaning of practice. But they try to come out here on Twitter, YouTube, wherever the case may be, and explain and talk football to all of you. Stop right now. It's embarrassing. Okay? Now, Omar Kelly and his stock up, stock down report for day 8 of practice. And this is what he has. His top performers: Robbie Chosen with Eric as a common sideline by an undisclosed injury he suffered Thursday. It appears that Chosen finally got more than a half dozen snaps in 11-11s. The 7-year veteran seized on them, delivering 95 yards on 2 receptions. Emmanuel Ogba. I haven't been shy about complaining about Ogba's usage in training camp. Yeah, I've heard he looks like struggled when he's been standing up. Miami's cross-training him as an outside linebacker, and he's standing up too much for my personal taste. The Dolphins finally let Ogba put his hands in the ground a bit more Friday, and his presence was felt. He was owning the line of scrimmage outside of his one snap against Armstead during the first snap of 11-11, and he delivered at least one would-be sack against Austin Jackson and had another 4 or 5 pressures. He also gift-wrapped the sack for Raekwon Davis by forcing Tagovailoa to step up in the pocket. His another top performer is Zach Seiler. He's constantly praised Christian Wilkins for how dominant he is daily. And it feels as if he's overlooking Seiler's performance on a daily basis because he's right there with Wilkins, serving as a disruptive presence in practice daily. Seiler had a sack Friday and a handful of pressures, but more importantly, during the goal line work of the defensive line was stout, preventing the first-team offense from having effective runs that would have gotten the team in the end zone. Seiler was responsible for 3 or 4 tackles at the line of scrimmage during Friday's physical work. which heavily involved the trench players. Now, stock down for him, Eric Saubert. The Dolphins are having an open audition to determine who will be Durham Smythe's new Robin, and at this point, I don't think that player is on the roster. Saubert has had plenty of opportunities to impress during 11-11s and just hasn't yet. Friday's practice, which featured him dropping a critical pass during 11-11s and then following up with a false start the very next play, hints he might not be ready to shed his NFL journeyman reputation. So, guys, we got almost 400 of you in the room. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. And listen, if you want to know what the deal is, because I know everyone wants to know every day about training camp, you know where to come, man. We're going to fill you in. We're going to give you all the info that's out there. You already know what time it is. So let's keep it rolling here. A last thing I wanted to get into here and show you guys was just coaches tracking the progress of the rookies, because everyone asks, how are the rookies doing? How's Cam Smith? What do they think of Cam Smith? What do they think of Devin A-Chain? So let's hear it. This article by Palm Beach Post that summarizes what the coaches were saying today in their pressers regarding him. All right. So the Dolphins' top draft picks will need a bit more coaching and a bit more work to make an impact in the NFL. Cam Smith and running back Devin A-Chain are not can't-miss prospects, not when taken in the second and third rounds, 51st and 84th overall, by a team that did not have a first-round pick. That does not mean the opportunity is not there, far from it. Both players are experiencing typical rookie growing pains in their first professional training camp, but learning every day. When asked about his young quarterbacks, including Smith, defensive coordinator Fangio said they're making good progress, working high, which means there's a but. They're not where we need them to be just yet. Running backs coach Eric Studesville praised A-Chain for being a really smart guy who enjoys football and is working his butt off, before adding, we want a complete back, so we're building all of those things in the process. Smith, 22, was the 7th quarterback selected in April. The former South Carolina standout is confident he will be in the rotation, saying he was planning on playing even before Jalen Ramsey's knee injuries took up the position. The 6'1", 180-pound Smith is competing for a starting cornerback position along veterans Eli Apple and Noah Igbenogany. The athletic rookie, who has impressed in the early stages of camp, will receive plenty of reps when the Dolphins start their 3-game preseason schedule August 11th against the Falcons. He's doing a tremendous job. He's making plays, Tyreek said. He definitely has the size and intangibles of being a physical corner. On Friday, Smith forced an incompletion early in practice, but later hobbled off the field with assistance of a trainer. Smith slipped on the concrete at the end of the practice field. Cam's played a lot of different coverages throughout the course of his career, Sam Madison said. It's been fun throwing him in different situations throughout the course of the camp, and he's handled it very well, so we're just going to keep working on the small details of the defense. Madison sees a very valuable trait in Smith that he learned during his 12-year career, 9 of those with Miami. He's a true defensive back because when you're talking about giving up a play or coming up with a play, he has a short memory span, and he gets right back out there and gives it his all. A-Chain played 3 years at Texas A&M. Known for his speed, he gained 2,376 yards with average 6.4 yards per rush and caught 65 passes for 554 yards. He's going to determine what skill he's better at, Studesville said. We want a guy that's going to be able to run it for us, that's going to be able to catch it when we throw it to him in the backfield, or extend the play. And a guy that can protect, a guy that can evade, a guy that can be physical. And, of course, a guy with speed. A-Chain has plenty of that. The 5'11", 197. So he's up to 197 pounds, guys. We've been talking about he's over 193. Well, there you go. Now he's at 197 pounds. Posted a 4.32 40 time at the scouting combine. Fastest among running backs. And he was the 4th. That was the fastest amongst running backs. And the 4th fastest amongst running backs in league history. He was a member of the Aggies track team. It's a game of speed, right? Studesville said, if you're faster than everybody else, you got to use it at the right times in the right way. He'll do that. Still, speed aside, A-Chain is adjusting. It's very different, said A-Chain, who scored a touchdown during the goal line drills. I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose focus. That is coming with the help of veterans such as Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert. He's going to be great, Wilson said. I want to give him every tool he needs to be great. He's learning the game fast. So, a fast player learning the game fast. I love it. But there you go. A-Chain up to 197 pounds now. Shout out to Topher for the $19.99 donation. Appreciate that, sir. So there you go. There's your update. And one of the biggest key takeaways from that update is A-Chain keeps on adding the weight. And both their position coaches, Sam Madison and Stoodsville, praising A-Chain and praising Cam Smith's abilities. Exciting times. Guys, we're going to be live tomorrow in the afternoon for a scrimmage recap. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a good one. So tune in live tomorrow. We're going to be covering scrimmage. We're going to have some highlights. It's going to be real good tomorrow. So exciting. The first controlled scrimmage before they're off 2 days. They will be off Sunday and Monday before joint practices on Tuesday and Wednesday with the Atlanta Falcons. So, man, it is getting hype. It is getting hype. Let's go. So I will see all of y'all tomorrow. I cannot wait. And I don't know what Carte Blanche is talking about, my ridiculous Dalvin train. First of all, I started the A-Chain train, so there's not a bigger fan of Devin A-Chain in this fan base than me. And second of all, just because I want to have the best running back room in the NFL, that's ridiculous. By the way, name an offensive lineman that's out there that's worth us signing right now. Go ahead, name one. Because I'll tell you right now, there isn't one. There isn't one right now. All right? So, anyways, we're going to get out of here. I will see all y'all in the next one. You already know what time it is. I will see y'all in the next one. Until then, fins up all day, every day, even beyond the grave in which we'll lay. See y'all. Have a fantastic night, everyone.